walk that I'm blessed. See the love of God in my flex, I'm so blessed. 20K just on my chain, say less. I text every day to get dressed, so blessed. Been through the storm and the rain, still blessed. Had a couple heartaches and pain, still blessed. Handle the pressure from fame, still blessed. Just God called my name, so blessed.
Yes, sir, I'm blessed, don't play boy, cause I got it mad. Tailor made just for this fit, I'm gon' cut the slack. I'm the man, good hearted shorty with me acting bad. Shout out to mans that done tightened up since they became a dad. Shout out to me.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cobain Report. I am Rocc Cobain. This is
T-Mail.
And this is
Gigi.
And you know the vibes. Today we have a very special guest. T-Mail, get into that intro, brother.
Oh, man. So today we have a homegrown shero here with us today, hailing from the west side of Detroit. She started playing the guitar at the tender age of 13. Now she pairs that guitar with her angelic vocals in her music. You may have heard some songs like Eclipse, Millennials, West Side, or Cruel. She is taking her time out to bring some of that heat to us today on the Cobain Report. We have the one and only Charity.
Make some noise!
What an intro!
Man, shit, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. Oh, I've been waiting for this interview.
Been waiting for this one, yeah.
Jesus,
She's
T-Mail.
literally like the Beyonce of Detroit.
Like,
Yes.
bro.
I swear to God.
I saw her live, and we all fanning out right now. We're going to get to the real interview, but I think you've earned everybody's respect through your music. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I know you as on the social media side as well, but your music speaks so much. The stories that your music tells, I feel like you the homie.
Yeah,
I feel like I know you
that's
just
how
because
it's supposed to feel.
Your book of music is like, oh, she went through that? She went through that?
Yeah.
All right, T-Mail, get us into the real show because you know I'll fan out quick.
Man,
I will.
So this is your first time on the Cobain Report. You know, let some of our viewers know like a little bit about, you know, yourself and how you got started in like, being in music.
So I'm a singer, songwriter. I play guitar. I started with guitar. Guitar was my entry point into music. So I come from a family that was like strict and stern. I'm a preacher's daughter. We were all homeschooled, me and all my sisters. So we had to take instrumental lessons. Like it was just a part of the rigor of like growing up in our household. So I switched from piano to guitar. And this was the moment that I like became a musician because I had the right teacher, somebody who understood like, no, those poems are songs.
Right,
and she has an ability to perform that's going to take her beyond this.
No.
And so it was nurtured. This is like an old white guy that played folk guitar.
Bro.
I credit him, Mr. Palmer.
Shout out to Mr. Palmer.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Because, bro, what you did not know was you was creating this right here, which is a monster. Like, bro, to say the Beyonce of Detroit
That's crazy.
It's crazy work.
It's true.
But who, I mean, it's some other artists. I ain't even gonna get into that conversation because I know that can go real left. But yes, I agree with that fact.
I'm just
that
saying.
she is definitely what she said on the last show. Top 3, and she's not the 3.
Not, top 3, not number 3.
She's not number 3. Yeah, that's what she said.
It's the package.
Talk about the journey, man. Talk about the journey. I know we both preachers kids, so I know how that went. How was it for you growing up in church?
I think until I got to the other side of it, I felt resentful of how sheltered I was because I'm not just a PK, I'm a homeschooler on top of that.
24/7 with them.
Exposure to like things that are just helping kids to like grow up. Like I am getting that way late. And so definitely I think was on the like late bloomer path. I also wasn't a rule breaker. That's just my personality. So you can be a homeschool PK and be a rule breaker and be getting down in the back of the church. That just wasn't me. So I really like I got on the late bloomer path, I think, because of how my parents brought me up. But I see the benefit of that now because the time that I have taken to develop, like as a woman, as an artist, as a thinker, as a writer, I think that's why my work is as strong as it is now.
For sure. You are a deep thinker for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that it impaired any of your social skills though?
My mom kind of comes from a kind of social climate that kept us from being weird. Like homeschoolers are
Shout out to weird.
Homeschoolers, you've met some homeschoolers.
Man.
And you like,
homeschool my
Yeah,
kids.
see, that's what
I have a
perfect
7th grader
conversation
right
here.
now in homeschool.
and I bet
And
you're
girl, you
intentional.
give me hope.
Yeah, because you've seen some homeschoolers that are not
No.
typical in terms of how they show up in social spaces.
Yeah.
But we grew up in Brightmoor essentially.
Hey, shout out to Brightmoor.
Like
Wow,
not
you grew up in
techni-
Brightmoor
like
and
right
homeschool?
between Rosedale Park and Brightmoor, like
Homeschool
Grand
in
River and
Brightmoor.
Evergreen.
You are a hero.
So yeah, like we were exposed to some kids on the block that were like, definitely
Yeah.
into some shit. And then, my mom has a family that is truly your standard greater black family. So we turned out okay. But
That's
a lot
what's
don't.
up.
We turned out
I didn't
okay.
even know they homeschooled on Bible.
So they didn't.
Right.
They didn't. There was like a couple homeschool families. Well, no, it was a few. There was a few because we would
That's
all
what's
get
up.
together and like do like co-op and stuff like that.
That's
So,
what's up.
yeah.
Yeah, I shout out to all the black families that's homeschooling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to it. T-Mail, get us, go ahead. Do your thing. I know you got something itching. I know you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Journalist of the crew.
You know, you shared quite a bit with us, especially like your background with, you know, church and everything. So I seen like in one of your songs, Mr. Time, you talked about, you know, your friend that was like an atheist and the different, you know, view that I guess you got from them. You know what I mean? Let me know, like, what was it that impacted you the most about like their view on like, you know, why they were atheists?
I didn't understand that much about this person's view because we weren't exchanging a lot of like doctrine or arguing around our viewpoints as much as this was a person that I loved. And that was enough for me to be like, if I, imperfect, could not send this person to burn eternally, then how could a perfect God? And so it was more so around, I just love this human and I can't wrap my mind around hell as their eternal sort of state of being. So how could God? And so that's where like, you know, things kind of start to fall apart and you start to question things based on relationships with people who are just different than you.
I also have a friend, shout out to my homie, you know you are, who is she goes to the Satan temple, right? Temple of Satan or whatever it is, right? So we had a conversation. We were just talking about.
That's crazy. I'm sorry.
I know it is. It is.
Like, you see, I'm sorry.
No.
Like
So
30
listen.
questions
So
in
listen.
my head. Like,
So the way that she framed it was that she got into that because they allow so much freedom of religion and Christianity in schools and different places. So there's people who don't agree with that.
Yeah.
So she was like, that was my way of doing whatever I did, right? But I'm piggybacking off what you said. She is a perfect human being. Raises her children. She loves her community. I mean, she's a social worker. She gives back. She writes rent checks. She does all the things for a rapid rehousing program. Like, she is a human that is a great human.
can we bring her here?
I have been trying. So me and her were talking about doing some kind of joint show or something that's like a weird, like good meets evil or like something like that, right? Because we have total polar opposite views, but we are just like, we agree on everything human.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
what I'm
Nothing
saying?
away from this, but that is interesting.
It is.
No, she in her whole way. She even has. So I just noticed the other day, like she has a tattoo of like it's like the hand doing this, right? But now that I know what her thing is, right? I'm like,
oh no, that's
I'm
a
here.
symbol.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just like, hey, dude. It's like, oh,
symbol, yeah.
and you're in plain sight with what you believe. But what it gave me was to understand to say they are bold and will tell you we are the ones that are afraid. Or people who have Christian religion, right? Or if you're a Christian or whatever it is you choose. We the ones that be afraid to be like, no, this is what I do. A lot of us. Because we want to be cool with the streets or cool with the other people. So we afraid. They ain't afraid. They'll tell you, no, I serve the devil.
I think also though, because Christianity has gotten sometimes the marketing and the branding and the outward facing kind of like associations around Christianity be just weak. Like, I think sometimes
I was not expecting you to come in here dropping all these gangster
fire.
colloquialisms.
No, I saw a reel yesterday, and I shared this in my close friends because I didn't want people to like judge what I was judging. But it was this couple at the altar, and they're having this worship moment, and the bride is on her knees, and they're just worshiping at the altar. And I was like, mental illness. This is
Wow.
this is manic.
Wow.
One, you made one.
Too churchy.
One,
Too churchy.
you're doing this for the internet. You have a following of people who are looking forward to your wedding, and you are going to create this moment of worship as though God is the center of your marriage. But this
Seriously.
is being filmed.
Right.
And this intimate moment that you had with God is now a 15-second reel with words on top of it that say POV, God is the center of your marriage.
Seriously.
You niggas are out of your mind.
No, and no, you onto something, and it's so funny that you say that because when I see young pastors, preachers, whatever, and they change their voice, I say mental illness. It is something wrong with you. Like Monday through Friday, you were talking just like this, but as soon as the weekend comes,
Yes.
your voice changed. That is a real mental. These niggas was wrong.
We see.
Why do you say sound like this.
We see that like
That's not how you answer the phone.
70-year-old.
It's the performative thing for me. So it's like, do I really want to be associated with that? You know, Ty Tribbett is catching a lot of slack right now for what he said around the church just being whack. This institution, the way that it functions, the way that it informs people's mindsets is whack. And it's like, it is. And I think
so
that's why
corny.
people struggle to be bold in their faith, because it's like, am I representing who I know God to be, or will people conflate this with these weak ass representations of God that are floating all around the internet?
No,
And it literally has nothing to do with what God truly is.
No,
Correct.
That's a whole different episode.
No, you own it. I feel like the relationship with God itself, whatever that God is to you, is what you should be doing, right?
Facts.
Whatever it is that makes you wake up and say, I'm gonna be a good person today. Yeah. Whatever it is that makes you put those boundaries in, whether it's your healing, your sage, or whatever it is for you, I'm all right with you doing you, just like I am with people doing what they do in their own bedrooms, right? Your religion, all that stuff, that's on you. I care about when you come out the house, the character of, like the content of your character. Who are you? Are you helping the homeless? Are you doing the things, or not even the homeless? Are you just a good fucking person? Because that's so hard nowadays to be.
And this is the exact opposite message that the church teach.
Yeah, that's why we got Cobain Report, and we do both, because we talk it straight up.
And I wonder if this is why there's no successful people in church.
What? It's a few successful.
I'm talking about majority of
they be
black
broke.
churches.
They be broke.
There's not a lot of prosperous people. I'm not talking about people who looked up on a good paying salary. I'm talking about fruit, abundance, prosperity. That's not common. It's like a nice little 1%.
Yeah, for sure. In church. It's a 1%er in church. On my mama,
I'm talking
it
about
is.
In the church.
And then they say you stealing. Then they be like, well, they stealing because they the 1%ers. Nah, a lot of niggas be working. Like, yes, they be gigging and doing 2 and 3 different church services and all that kind of stuff. But it's a hustle to it.
But it's literally the mentality that you just explained is why they're fruitful. But the church don't teach that.
Well, I just finished the MLK X series. It's really good. They didn't promote it really well.
The one on Disney?
A lot of people haven't seen it. Yes, on Disney.
I didn't know about
it's a genius series, and y'all, like, for it to be this good, you would think that, like, you would have seen billboards coming down the freeway about this series. At the end, they really start to, like, show you the difference in philosophy between Malcolm when he comes, when he gets free, and Martin. And I was like, when I sat down, I'm like, oh, right behind Malcolm. Yeah. That felt good because his messaging is so in line with what has caused the shift for me career-wise, which is essentially that faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
This scripture is so common. If you come up in church, this is just something that is as common as for God so loved the world, right?
Yeah.
If you hear it, you know faith without works is dead, but we are waiting on somebody to come save us.
And this is not happening.
We are begging God to do this thing.
Instead of doing it for yourself.
Like, please quit asking God for money.
And
please.
the philosophies around a lot of what Malcolm X was teaching was like, we need to save ourselves. And I think that that's why the state of the church is so riddled with suffering. Because people have a lot of belief and no energy.
Facts.
Yeah.
When you can put some energy with your belief.
Yeah.
And then they be so like, when you actually do, they be like, wait a minute, what is he doing so different? No, bro, we got the same 24 hours in a day.
Facts.
It's about how you grinding, how you hitting that pavement to get it, bro.
That's it.
I'm telling you, I sat in the church. I did not mean to cut you off, but I sat in the church for probably about 5 years, and it took the 5th year for me to be like, wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody in here got nothing.
No, for sure.
But I'm sitting amongst a group of people with nothing. And we've been struggling for years together.
For sure.
I think this the problem. I'm about to go.
No,
left the payroll and all. I gotta go.
No, for sure. The thing she said, which is crazy, which I always say, right? Faith without works is dead faith. Because it's just dead. You just hoping and wishing. You ain't doing the legwork. I work 24/7 on me. And this fool, they will know. Our group, like, we're so committed to what we're doing as a group. We're attacking it. Like, we up at 6, 7 in the morning. We on it. We talking all night. We posting. We like as
audio
a group,
message. 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning. We just working because we want it.
Yeah.
Dead faith if you're not working, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit more about what or where you are in your spiritual path right now.
I believe in belief, and I believe that we all got a belief system, whether we call it Christianity or Islam or astrology or atheism or Hinduism. and I've learned a lot of this from my brother, somebody I went to TSU with, that's very dear to my heart, talks about, talks about belief in a way that I'm like, hold on, this is how I feel about belief. I believe in belief. I believe that if I believe in my heart that on an eclipse, on the night of an eclipse, something is gonna happen that can create cleansing for me. And I put my belief toward that, and then I attach a ritual to it.
Yeah.
Like I write some stuff down and burn it, and I believe that when that's burning, I believe it. I bet you it could happen.
Yeah.
I believe in belief. I believe that when Muslims are fasting for Ramadan, because of the belief they have assigned to this act of fasting, they see results. They feel closer to God, right? They feel more, they get more disciplined. I believe in that. My belief, because of how I came up, is in Jesus Christ.
Right.
Just because I just can't shake it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Bro,
It's so beautiful.
No, listen, dog, you hitting right now, bro.
story
Like,
is beautiful.
I feel the same way. Like, I be telling, me and Cuz be having these conversations between us, and I'm like, nigga, we need to go on Clubhouse with this, because we be talking. Don't worry about it. I got you. But anyway, we be talking about doing a Clubhouse because we literally talk about this all day. Religion is such a in-depth thing for us in our world, you know, because we know what we were taught. We grew up around preachers, right? But we've grown and we've evolved in our own personal opinions about stuff. My cousin, he's similar to what you believe. He like, I believe in belief. I also believe in the law of attraction. So like
Which
you said,
is essentially
is that law? It's belief.
Yep.
So when you say, when you burn something, you do it, you can get that to happen because you attracting this, bro. I feel like we've all attracted certain things in our life just from the power of our tongue.
Yeah. I believe it down to the point that if you want to go connect with an ancestor and you believe that this reader can somehow act as the medium between where you are and where they are, you might get some information.
In your belief.
If you believe, I'm that far.
Go ahead, because I know T-Bell already.
The fact of the matter is, and I know a lot of people watching is probably like, well, how could that work? How could the whole magic of it all is the fact that when you do believe, you function differently.
Yeah, you do.
You see differently.
Yes.
You hear differently. So when you have all those things triggering you, your motion is gonna bring whatever it is that you desire.
And those are the universal laws for me.
Yep.
God, whatever you call God, God created this being with an ability to activate here and things shift.
That's what God
So
did.
whatever causes me to activate here and get confident and feel like something is moving me, I don't care what that is.
No, for sure.
Right.
But I be seeing results.
Right.
I've seen results.
Right.
I've even seen results from the ungodly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
no,
they believe something, they go in that. It's like these are universal
And that's
laws.
why when you do it for good, the impact, the return is so great. Because when we say stuff like made in his image, that's what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny, like
Go
she
ahead.
said, as far as like with the universal laws, when it comes down to church, people hate when you refer to, you know, different things happening for yourself outside of it being, you know, God's work. It's like, you know, God is the universe.
Yeah.
But it is like a thing where, because everybody doesn't grow up in church. Everybody doesn't have the same, you know, experience. Like it was a Arab guy I was talking to, and I think he broke down religion like real, like, you know, kind of deep in one little, like, you know, sentence. And he basically asked me, do people practice religion because they're afraid or because they believe? And like the afraid part is like, are you afraid you're gonna go to hell?
Yeah.
Dog.
You know what I mean? So,
Remember the conversation we had the other day when I was like, he was like, yeah, because, and I said, cuz listen, bro, I hear you, I love you to death, but I'd rather be caught with it than without it.
and that's what, and I'm trying to tell him, like, you know, because when he said that, because
Like-
our conversations go back, but when he said that, I'm like, look, now with this, okay, what do you mean like being caught without it? Because like I'm looking at people, interviews that I've seen, and people said like when they, you know, come close to death where they flatline, they didn't see nothing but darkness.
Yeah.
But when, like you said, where you were speaking on earlier, what we've been trained in church is to believe that like it's gonna be this like gold road and it's gonna be these things. So you telling me like you got to go through however long that you've been alive, whatever struggles you've been through, whatever like circumstances you've had, you got to die to see something, you know, like beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, but this is what churches like teach us. Like it's I think an old system that we are like as the new generational, like, you know, believers or spiritual seekers or whatever it is. I think it's up to us to like kind of change what's going on.
I think so.
Yeah.
Too.
I'm gonna get deeper with it though, bro. And I know we're gonna go to another topic. I know the vibes, right? But a lot of this is based off of what we were trained and taught when we got off them boats. And we've just been carrying what we were taught through the generations.
Yeah.
So when a person says, well, I'm afraid I'd rather keep it than not have it. I mean, we've been taught so long and ingrained that this is Christian, this is what it is. But I guarantee you before they got off them boats, that ain't what it was for us.
No.
Not at all.
I don't think it was a fear-based religious system. And you also can't assume or think for a second that the oppressor would give me a belief system and a way to access God that empowers me.
No.
Why would they do that?
The way we do Christianity right now is totally not the original practice of our people.
No.
Let's just be clear. This was some programming. This is to get you to think a certain way so you can do a certain thing to make somebody else something in return. Yeah. This is not for the benefit of us. It's up to us to escape like Harriet and find the light.
I think COVID...
And figure it out until the next person.
No, yeah, you good. Sorry. I ain't even cut you off, my bad. I think COVID taught a lot of us too because we were also putting that fear of, oh, you can't miss you don't forsake the assembly. You don't miss a church service. Ooh, if you miss a church.
You was still going to church?
I was out of church.
I still go to church. I play drums every Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I'm still a musician at the Lord's house.
Okay, so you got to go.
I get a bag for the Lord.
I was done by COVID.
With the Lord.
I was still,
I was done.
I was gone.
When I
you was
left,
already gone by COVID?
It was people saying that I left and the devil had me because I left. And a year later,
when did you leave?
Because nobody was in church.
When did you leave? You got me interested now.
I stopped going to church consistently, probably college.
Okay.
What year was that?
2008, 2009.
Really?
For real?
Oh, you got away way before I did.
Yeah. So I would like
not got away.
Okay.
So I grew up in my father's church, which is a very traditional Southern Missionary Baptist church. So women can't wear pants.
Yeah, I grew up in one of them too.
Women are not allowed in the pulpit. It has a real strain on my parents' marriage. So eventually when my mom shakes it, then I start going to church on my own. So I'm going to churches that are more progressive. I'm making friends there. There's some like fun youth groups. I'm actually looking forward to seeing these people. Like, I'm on the praise and worship team. This is different. Then I'm like, some weird shit here that I don't really mess with. And then I take the like little shuttle to church in college here and there. And then I realized that like every sermon is about like haters. And when you've grown up in church and when you a Sunday school kid, these popcorn surface hater messages ain't quite doing it for me either. Yeah. So it's like, all right, I gotta figure out my own connection to God now.
So I heard you talk about the praise and worship. Was that where you kind of knew you could sing and like where the gift got cultivated even though you moved from there?
No, I would say I realized that I could sing doing like showcases. So, a recital at the co-op that the homeschoolers went to or something like that.
Cute and safe.
Or
Christmas program.
Yeah,
That's
or like
cute.
the summer camp that I went to, like they would have a talent show at the end of the week and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna fuck everybody up.
Wait till they see this John Mayer guitar.
Y'all thought I was good at archery. Wait till you see how I play guitar. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people were wild. People were always wild. So I'm like, no,
Bro,
I got something.
The first time I saw you live at PJ Morgan shit, I ain't gonna lie, I was wild in the mud. Cause of course, you grew up in the city, you hear about the people who buzz and then you hear about the, the vibes or whatever. So I had always heard your name. But then when PJ was like, I personally asked her to come, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be good.
No,
I want to
real.
see this. And I can't, she ain't had no shoes on.
I took my shoes off.
I think you had no shoes on at the episode. And I was like, why she ain't got no shoes on?
Now you talking about PJ last summer?
Yeah, last summer.
Okay.
Not this past though. Like, yeah. First time I saw you.
Yeah.
But you was killing it. And I'm like, I was just sitting there watching like, bro, this girl is up next. And then it's like, you just kept growing and evolving. Start seeing you on everything. I'm like, yeah, she the one.
Yeah.
Then when you opened your mouth and was talking about the religious aspect, I'm like, damn, she just like me too. Yeah, we got to get her on the Cobain Report.
That'd be the part. People be like, oh, you like me. You went through that too.
Yeah, you just like me. T-Mail, I know you got one. Go ahead.
Oh, we're going to get into the topic. Charity said something.
I know it.
Charity said something that made sense or related to the topic earlier as far as about Ty Tribbett and what he said about the church.
Yeah.
And was, piggybacking off what he said and wondering, do you think like the church is dead?
No, I don't, because I think those of us that grew up within the community of church are kind of longing for something. I know I am. I think church as it was, maybe is dying. But I do think that millennials are going to decide that we do need community. And we're either going to go back and revolutionize what church looks like, or we're going to have to create our own institutions. But I know that for my children, like, no, my future children, you're not going to be on your tablet all day on Sunday.
No, for
like,
sure.
There's something that got produced in me from being in church, having to sit there and listen and sit a certain way and learn my Easter speech. It created a standard of excellence in me that I think I want for my children, my future children. And I know that, like, that doesn't really exist outside of church.
No.
The HBCU experience kind of has it if you tap in a certain way, but church is like, sit up straight.
It is.
I like that.
No, it is.
That's
As a preacher's
interesting.
kid, I feel the same way. Like, I think that I wanted my kids to grow up with the vibes of what I grew up with in church, but I didn't want them to grow up with the mandate of me telling them to be a part or going, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted them to catch the vibes.
vibe.
Like, I wanted little Greg to be a drummer. But he played football. He a clothing designer. They have their own paths and their own ways, you know? But for me, I really did. I love the vibe. I love to put on the suits. I love the pageantry of church.
That's what I love about it too. The pageantry, the pomp and circumstance.
Yes, I love the vibes.
I love that when somebody passes away, I know, because I'm churched, how to handle this. I know what to sing. I know the value of taking food to their house. Like, a lot of this comes from what I learned in church. And that part of it I like, culturally.
I did
and
too.
the music.
Yeah, you can't. Listen, bro. Because a lot of the musicians that's out there is playing gospel, passing chorus, and all that in R&B and in these joints.
What? That's what brings God onto the song.
Dog. Speaking of that, I seen you doing your Tiny Desk, and the vibe and the energy was in the air on the Tiny Desk. I'm like, bro, like everywhere you go, you bring it. You posted a live the other day. You had the whole crowd into it. I'm like, this girl is
the
like,
Detroit's
dog,
Beyonce.
like,
Every time you say that, I just...
Who do you turn
Get it
into when
chill.
you get on stage? Because that is not this. You are.
Oh yeah, I'm so laid back,
Bro,
and then I get on stage.
And you are a beast.
She is a goat. She is a Capricorn.
Who are you on
Correct.
stage? Sasha Nova. What's your name? What's going on?
I never like personified it. I never like gave it a name, but I remember watching. It was a Netflix series about like when hip hop first developed. Y'all know it. Dang, I wish I knew the name of this show. Funk Master Flex says to a young guy though that's like trying to come up and DJ, and he about to go on stage, and he says to him like, administer joy. And I'm like, I remember like feeling God in that moment, like, whoa, that's saying something to me. Like when you go on stage, you administer joy. That's your job. And so I'm able to tap into an energy whose main intention is to administer joy. And I've studied people who do that really, really well. Like Nina Simone is one of the first people that I've studied who will allow God to take over her when she's on stage. I've watched, I'm like, oh, now she out her body. I want to go there. And I've practiced that. I've practiced like going there on stage, being fully present with the people in the room, but also connecting fully to God while I'm up there.
That's something you have to learn as a performer. That's not something that comes natural.
No.
How long did it take you, I was saying, your performing back to kind of get into that where you felt more comfortable, like maybe year 1, year 2? What you think?
I think I was probably 5 years in, actually. Because you got to remember, I'm performing at like, I start at like 16. Like that was the first real show I played at the Ribs and Soul Fest. I'm 16. And I stood in one spot on guitar. And then I start sitting down with the guitar, which is basically telling the audience, you can listen to me or you maybe not. What's up to you? Like, I had to learn over the years, like, what message do you send people when you sit down and you play this guitar?
No, for sure.
Are you a coffee house artist or are you a world-class artist? So I have to stand up. So now I'm always standing up with my guitar, but then I played every single song on my guitar so I can never walk around on stage. I'm right here the whole time. I can't really connect with the people in the audience. That person that know all the words, that's over there on the left side, I can't have a moment with them because I stay here the whole time. So I had to trust my band to like, okay, y'all take up this space that I'm taken up on guitar so I can walk around. And then I started writing songs that didn't require the guitar, and I got even more free. So it's this progression of me not being such a purist about like what I think good music is, and allowing myself to become an artist and an entertainer.
And that you are.
No, that you are.
Like that, you are like an artist.
No, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Seriously.
Talk to me about your production side. Who do you work with? Who are some of your people that you love being associated with when it comes to producing your music?
So on the last 5 songs I've done, the last 2 singles, and then the Christmas project, Jay Brooks produced all of that music.
Shout out to Brooks.
Yup, I'm about to go to his live recording right when I leave
Shout
here.
out to Brooks.
Jay Brooks is a friend, a brother to me, and he is a person who is in my soul family when it comes to what we have, our understanding of what's beautiful to us. We agree on that. And so, like, when I bring a song to him, he is able to add beauty in a way where I'm like, yes. Yeah. And then he's a master on his instrument, and he's a master as a producer.
Yes,
and so he's able to take things that maybe haven't even realized in my mind and bring them to the track. Sure. And then Vince Berry too. He's
Shout out to Vince.
Those are my guys.
Yeah, for sure. Vince, I go back East Side. You know the vibes.
Yeah,
I was over there. Yeah. Even when he did Sandcastles and all them records with Beyonce, like I watched Vince evolve too. All these people that you're speaking of are greats in the game.
Vince is a genius.
I mean, Vince is so far ahead of everybody. Like he stopped trying to make everybody keep up with him. He just was like, y'all stay down there. I'm gonna keep evolving.
And that's a person with an energy level and with an ability to combine faith with works that I'm very inspired by. Yeah. I always give Vince his flowers every chance I get.
Yeah, shout out to Vince. Shout out to Jay Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They are powerhouses in the city. You got some good producers behind you. Which one did Eclipse?
I did Eclipse.
You did Eclipse?
Yes. So Eclipse is, let me be like honest. Eclipse is written on a loop that I found. So that's not me playing that super fast guitar. But then I was like, okay, I want this to be very empty. So I did most of it. And then CJ Alexander in LA, he added some bass to it. Yeah. And I think that's it. Guitar, bass, and me, and some harmonies.
Nah, that song is fire, fire, fire. Go ahead, T-Mel.
Thank you.
Nah, I'm going to take it a little different direction. So, like you spoke on a movie you had seen. I seen a movie on Netflix, and it was about this middle-class black couple where what happened, they were standing next to this officer, and the officer had killed this child. So they were, in their house, and they're watching, the news, and they get frustrated, and they're like, this keep happening to us, and they get all upset, and then they work themselves up to go and, like, basically take him hostage. They take him hostage, and then they, question him, and they find out, that it was a white kid that he had killed, and everything changed. They say, why you didn't tell us? At that moment, I'm like, man, so can black people be racist?
What? I love the lead up to this question.
Listen.
I have thoughts on this, though.
Go ahead. You the guest.
You first.
Go right.
When people say that black people can't be racist, it feels like we're saying that we never have any power in any space anywhere. So if you look at racism by definition of the power to systemically oppress, to say we don't have that. So we don't have no power in no systems, nowhere. I worked a job in nonprofit for a music nonprofit where I was hiring. I'm an area director and I'm hiring people to run these studios. I interviewed so many white men. And because we are in communities of color where these kids are black and going through black issues and want to make black music, as soon as I saw a white person, I'm like, now you got to prove it. That you, you know what I'm saying? You in the culture. I don't have no power.
Yeah.
I don't have any power in that moment to say like, nah, just because you're white. I do. I think it's way less likely that a black person is going to be able to use said power to oppress. Because we typically don't have power. But I'm like, I don't know. I see us a little bit more bossed up than that.
No, for sure, for sure. Even myself, as I was formerly a director at a shelter not too long ago, and a lot of that plays into kind of why I'm not the director at the shelter anymore. Is because they like, nah, he's too great. He's just like, nah, I'm just a real black man. Yeah, and I know that puts that thing in you because you like, I ain't listening to him. I ain't never, and then half of them dealing with fatherhood issues anyway, so they don't like listen to me in general. Definitely not no man of color. Who you think you are? Yeah. Get your place, director boy. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they mind. But I'm still like, meet me in my office, I need to write you up. Because, like you said, we do have power, but it's so often that we come into those situations where we do have the power. But I do believe black people can be racist because sometimes I be having those feelings like, if you don't get your hands on my own face.
But I think that feeling is justified by the history of what it has looked like to be a black person in America. That feeling of like, I don't want you in my space.
Yes.
You typically tend to do harm when you get into these spaces. And so to protect myself from this harm that you tend to cause, like, please move. I don't think that's racist though. Yeah. I think that's like self-preservation.
In an aspect,
agree with that.
Yeah, me too.
Gina, what you think?
Whatever she said.
So since we have these two wonderful women,
I'm a girl's girl.
I want to talk about something that I inboxed her the other day because I listened to her music and her music is so powerful and so like uplifting for women and women of color. I asked her, I'm like, hey, are you a feminist? Like, is this music feminist vibes? Because I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I think I'm turning into a feminist ally. He's like, we need to do some talking because I don't know. Yeah, you're a little tender. Talk to me about your views on feminism.
I am not a feminist. If I was to give myself a label, I would want to honor the work of bell hooks and say that I'm a womanist. I think that womanism is more grounded in the experience of a black woman, and it considers the way that patriarchy harms not just women but also men. And I think as a black person, you can't have a singular lens on this and just like only acknowledge how women have been harmed by patriarchy. I think even though men are closer to patriarchy, black men, and they tend to have a little bit more power to oppress, black men are being harmed by it as well. Yeah. And so something I had to realize with feminism was that I wanted a man. No matter how angry I was at patriarchy or gender norms or whatever, I still, at the end of the day, wanted a man. And the kind of man that I wanted tends to be not really, he's not gonna call himself a feminist. He might even be problematic. And so unless I'm
a little toxic,
they typically
just a little toxic,
a little bit,
you like a little bit of toxicity.
The way that men are programmed, it makes room for toxicity to just make its way into your thought process. It's difficult to avoid that. So the men that I'm attracted to tend to be, by social standards, masculine. And here I am waving this feminism flag saying that everything that's wrong with the world is because of men. And I'm creating an energy on me that's like, fuck men. But at the end of the day, I want one.
Right.
How does this work? And so I think I had a turning point after reading Bell Hooks where I was able to be empathetic toward the experience of black men in America and put a little bit more honey on my messaging so that we can actually come to a common ground and move forward instead of arguing all the time, because I love men. I am so attracted to men. I want to be with a man.
That is so funny. I just told my husband that this morning. I said, sometimes I just obsess over you because you just a man. It ain't because how long we been together, how many kids we got, how long we been married. It's just you a man. And I had to, do a disclaimer. It's like, I don't want to be with just any man. It's you. But I just still had to, because I am an advocate for men, especially black men. So feminism, no. Because
it's not for me.
I need mine.
I had a period where I was waving the flag, but not anymore.
And we honestly need black women to love on us. It's tough out here, you know what I mean? Like, we go to these jobs every day and we have to, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, cuz could tell you, we both, we talk. This is probably my closest confidant when it comes to anything. Like, me and this dog, we talk about every freaking thing, like kids, all kind of stuff. So he can tell you, bro, I be like, dog, I just don't want to do it no more. Like, I'm tired of being super or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you need that woman to speak life into you. That
being
black
a
woman.
safe space to a man, especially a black man, is like one of the most incredible feelings.
It's an honor. It's an honor. And for me, the career shift that I have had this year, I'm not going to say single-handedly because I've done my work as well. I've been in therapy. I've been pushing myself out of this faith without works, like toxic kind of framework. My shift from like, you used to see me every now and then to like now every time you open your phone, you see me and I'm doing this and song after song after song is largely because of the partner that I chose.
That's what's up.
And the energy of a man in my life that is confident and motivated and can see the value of what I'm working toward and pour resources into that. Like pour belief into that. Like,
that's beautiful.
What? No. I can't say like it would be so hypocritical for me to be all feminist and a large part of me being like, wow, this is the part of my life path that I was struggling to get to. I was ushered to in partnership with a man.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Which is dope. I think y'all situation is so dope when I see it from time to time because, you know, you're very private and the way you're supposed to be, smart. But when I am privileged to see the situation, right, the way y'all kind of interact and love on each other and promote each other and do the vibes, it's just like, it's good black love. That's a real good black love y'all got going on.
Neither one of us is hating on each other.
No,
right.
Like,
we have moments. We have moments like when we're out. Obviously, he's more like people know him a little bit more than me. A lot bit more than me right now.
At this point. That's your hard camera if you want to talk to him. Go ahead.
Right now. Right here. Right now.
Right.
But like when people like walk up to him, like I'll be like, oh my God, like people love you. Like you really the people's champ. Like I see the effect that he has on people and what his hustle has inspired in other people. And I think that is so great. And to watch that and also be inspired by that, like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to go. Yeah. So, yeah, I want partnership.
I love that for you, friend. I love that for you.
Thank you.
Man, this episode has been an awesome episode. Charity, you are one of not only the brains, the beauty, but the artist. Like, you are a total package. I know we all have flaws and all that kind of good stuff, but man, I'm your spirit, and it reminds me of NDRE vibes, right? I love the energy, just to putting out the light. That's what we've been on lately, is making sure that we put out the light. Yeah. So before we get out of here, I want you to tell them where to find you, all the good stuff you got coming new, and give them one
right before. And
no, he did. Go ahead, T-Mill. You do every episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I got to see that Charity was into sneakers, so I wanted to ask. You know what I mean? Like, what
I love
would
when he do that?
Wait, before we get like, hold up.
Yeah, real quick. What would you say? Like, is your? I ain't gonna make it too long, but if you had to pick one, sneaker, like. Only because, yeah. For sure. So I give you three.
Thank you.
Yeah. A real sneakerhead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think my picks are that like niche, right? Like I'm not a true sneakerhead, but like I have thoughts on this. I would say, I think that the Air Force One is the most classic sneaker design ever. Yes. I think it is timeless. It will never go away. And then I think Tinker Hatfield and Michael Jordan did some special stuff together. Dream team. I think the synergy of what they had is like there's something to be studied there. So the Jordan one is next in line for me, even though that feels so cliche because it's having such a hype beast moment. And then the silhouette of the 4.
The 4 is my favorite shoe.
Butter to me.
I love the 4s. They're my favorite Jones.
I do not like 4s. I tell my husband something. Those look like a biscuit. You know when a biscuit pop? Oh my God, I love them.
Bro.
I'm sorry.
I'm just something sleek about that 4.
You got some hot picks.
Okay,
I was scratched the 4 for the 11.
Am I cleared now to give her? Every good?
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Charity, go ahead. Let us know about the things before T-Mail runs his show again.
I appreciate y'all. This has been fun. Okay, so I'm Charity. You can find me on Instagram at Charity, Charity. Eclipse dropped in January. That's available everywhere you stream music. Cruel dropped in February, and then we snatched it back, and we're giving you an opportunity to pay for it. You can pay whatever you want to pay for Cruel. Let me say it again. You can pay whatever you want to pay for Cruel. It's only on Even right now, so that's at the link in my bio on Instagram. We're going to put it back out soon. But for now, I got another song coming out very soon. We're going to do an EP this spring, a couple more singles, and we're going to perform live also this spring. We're going to do a Detroit show.
We need a media pass so we can come and
let's do that.
Yeah, I got to, because boy, your shows be lit.
Oh, no, the live experience is
crazy.
The best. Yeah.
No, it is.
And we just gonna go all year round. Like I've held a lot of songs hostage. I'm out of that. So like, yeah, y'all getting all of these songs in this folder.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, T-Mill, tell them what you got going.
We want to thank Charity for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Keep on subscribing. Check us out. Like, comment, subscribe. YouTube, the Cobain Report, and keep helping us bless the city. Go with God.
And you'll be blessed. G, go ahead.
Well, GigiVernado.com for everything me. Gigi Vernado on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, I think. Maybe X. Am I on X? I think I am on X.
Freaky ass.
No. I'm
just talking shit. We classic Twitter subscribers. Right.
My ex is, I am political. I'm like an activist on that.
That's a whole, we're going to have to bring you back because, boy, I know you got some thoughts.
Yeah, so many thoughts.
Ooh,
so many thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to leave it alone because, boy, all right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode before we talk about Trump. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Cobain Report. Thank you to Charity for coming out and gracing us with her presence before she blasts off, and we'll never be able to talk to her on our level. So thank you for coming out. We look forward to just your future and watching you grow. You guys like, subscribe, tune in every Saturday at 8 o'clock. You know the vibes of me. It's a wrap, bitch.